doing fantastically well today. Have you wanted to build your executive presence? And maybe you are at the place where you have built your executive presence. But have you ever wondered what happens afterwards? Well, this video, I'm going to share with you 3 scenarios that will happen after you have developed your executive presence. And you'll want to stay to the very end of this live video because I'm going to share with you some really good insights on how you can manage each of these scenarios when they come up. The reason I wanted to bring this video topic up is because I've looked at a lot of videos online and I talk about executive presence, executive communication skills, and really communicating at a higher level as a woman in leadership. And so there's a lot of videos on YouTube that talk about this is what you do to develop your executive presence. These are the top 5 tips that you should do. But I don't see any videos that talk about what happens after you develop your executive presence. No one's really talking about that. And I want to give you the honest scenarios that actually do come up. These are scenarios that I have personally experienced in my over 20 years of experience working as a C-suite executive, as a manager, and as a director. These are scenarios that I have personally dealt with that people really don't talk about when it relates to your executive presence. So when you have developed it, so I'm not talking about how you develop it, the tips you need to do. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about something that's not on YouTube that people are not talking about. And that is, what do you do? What will you experience after you've developed your executive presence? So I'm going to share with you what will happen. One of the scenarios that you will experience when you have developed your executive presence and you have been very consistent with it is that people will want to be close to you. This specifically means you have a circle of individuals who are very inspired by what you are doing as a leader. And these individuals are looking up to you. They want to learn, how do you act the way that you do? How do you speak the way that you speak? And how do you conduct yourself whenever there's stressful situations that come up? So this is a great way. Hi Zoe, how are you doing today? So good to see you. So I'm talking a bit about, these are some secrets that people don't talk about when you develop your executive presence. And the first one is that you're going to have people that will want to be around you. They want to be around you. They want to learn about you. They want to learn how you do what you do. Now, I want to know from you, how in the world do you manage your executive presence? And are there any things that you have noticed previously that have caused you to have challenges with your executive presence after it's been developed? Let me know in the comments below. I'm looking forward to hearing those. The second thing that happens when you develop your executive presence that can happen is that you're going to have people who simply don't like you. They get very, very mad when you are around because you have an executive presence. The reason why this comes up a lot is because basically what happens is that when you are developing your executive presence, a lot of times people may be very intimidated by you because guess what? They don't have what you have, and that fosters a sense of jealousy and people get really upset. So before I go into it more, hello, Galak, thank you so much. Hello, good morning. All right, well, good to see you all. So the next thing I wanted to say is when you have those scenarios when people get intimidated by you, once you've developed your executive presence and they're really frustrated by how you're acting, you'll see it. People will start to be a bit more direct with you and they start to challenge you a bit more. So what can you do to prevent this from happening? The things that you can do to prevent this from happening is to really, truly become even stronger with your executive presence, because you have people that do not want to be in your presence because you have something that they don't have, or perhaps you may be in a scenario where you may be working with a boss and your boss does not have an executive presence, or they're just not consistent with it. And when they start to notice that you are very consistent, you're presenting yourself as a leader, you're presenting yourself as an executive, then they may start to be upset because they are not able to do that. So these are the things that people aren't talking about here on YouTube. They are not. They talk about how do you get to executive presence? This is what you should do. This is how you should develop it. But people are not talking about what happens afterwards. Like, what are some of the real scenarios that you're going to experience? I know personally, I've dealt with this a few times in my career where my executive presence has been at a higher level than people I have worked with, and I've had these scenarios happen. You're going to have times where people are going to not be happy with you, and they're going to want to challenge your presence. They're going to challenge everything you say. And so I have a lot of videos here on my YouTube channel that talk specifically about how you can develop your executive presence, how you need numbers, how you need statistics, especially when you encounter those very challenging situations where you have somebody that simply doesn't like you because you have an executive presence. You have to really have your executive presence on point. It has to be there. You're going to have to be able to communicate at that higher level to basically be able to counteract and deflect and appropriately manage those people that just simply don't like you. Now, that's the second one. Now, I want to know from you watching this live video. First, I appreciate you all for being here and spending just a few moments of your time with me today. I hope that this topic is helpful to you. This is a topic I have not found it on YouTube, and so this is something that I'm hoping you just share with other people and that it gets some views, because this is, people aren't talking about what happens afterwards. They talk about the before, getting there, all the work you have to do, but what happens afterwards? I'm sharing with you real life, 20 years of experience of what I have experienced when I have developed my executive presence. So if you could put something in the comments below, let me know if this information is helpful to you. I appreciate the likes on the video. Thank you so much for that. It means a lot. And if you have any questions as it relates to developing your executive presence, I'm here to support you on your journey and help you to make that happen as a woman in leadership. Now, I'm going to go into the third and final scenario that you will experience when you develop your executive presence. Are you ready? The third scenario that you may experience is that you may have people who are in between, meaning these people, they don't necessarily like you. They're not a fan, but they don't dislike you. They're just in the middle observing you. These are going to be your coworkers, more than likely, or your peer-to-peer individuals, because they have started to see a transformation in yourself and they're not quite sure how to take it. So a lot of times I tell my clients the following: you will have scenarios that come up when we work together that you are trying to develop your executive presence, and when you are in that process, you have to change the way that you are behaving, the way that you are acting, the way that you are speaking, that is different than what people are used to seeing from you. For example, if you're the person at work that likes to laugh and have a good time and just joke around all the time, when you suddenly go into executive presence mode, you more than likely are not laughing, joking. You're still being cordial and of course still being polite, but the amount of time that you spend laughing and joking will probably be a lot smaller than what it was in the past. And so what happens is your peers will notice that, and they'll pick up on it and they'll say, wow, is something going on with Mary? What's going on with Mary? She's acting different. That's the first thing people say. Mary's acting different. What's going on with Mary? And they are wondering what is going on with you. But in your mind, you know that you are just trying to elevate yourself as a leader. So this is just a part of the process. I tell my clients, and I prepare them for this all the time, when you're developing your executive presence, these are the things you are going to have to be prepared to deal with. People that like you, people that don't like you, and people that are in between, and they're not quite sure what to say or how to make the way that you're acting, because it's different than what you've been doing in the past. So what do you do to address this issue? When you have that person that's in between, that you know is watching you, and they're still being nice, but they're not being mean, but they're just being in between. They're just being their normal selves, or they may be a bit withdrawn from you. The best thing that you can do for these individuals is to continue with your executive presence, but show your cordial side to them at strategic times. So you still want to be polite. When you are presenting yourself as executive, oftentimes people have the misconception that when you present yourself as an executive and you have an executive presence, that you talk to people like this every single day. This is what I want to have done. This is what you need to do, and I need it done now. That is not how executives should operate. And that is not how leaders need to operate as well. There's a balance there, and you have to be able to turn the switch on and turn the switch off as it relates to your presence, because you still want to be a leader. And the way that you become a true leader is that you are able to inspire others to do amazing things. And you can't inspire others if you are constantly just talking to them or talking down to them or being rude to them as an executive. You want to still be able to have that camaraderie, have those times where there is laughter, have those times where there's relatability, have those times where you can have a confidential conversation with someone and not repeat what is said. So you still have to be your authentic self as a leader, and especially when you're developing your executive presence. So you still want to be very, very cordial with these individuals, because remember, they are experiencing a different person than they have experienced in the past. And for some people, that may be a bit unsettling. They may say, well, she used to laugh all the time and now she works all the time. Or if she used to talk to me a lot and now she doesn't talk to me, I wonder what her problem is or what's wrong with her. So people they're going through a bit of a transition themselves too, because they know you as one person and now you're completely somebody differently. So keep in mind that this is something that people tend to do when you are developing your executive presence. They're not quite sure how to take you. So continue to be cordial to those individuals, continue to be polite to them, and find times to find a common conversation or some commonality that you have with them, whether it is discussing a project that both of you are passionate about, that you really enjoy, or perhaps you could be talking about a specific event that is going on within your organization or within your business that you have a common interest in. Those are great ways to continue being able to foster and nurture those relationships with those individuals that are in between. Now, I want to know from you, if you've just developed your executive presence before, what type of person have you encountered or experienced? Have you experienced the people that really, really enjoy being around you? Have you experienced the people that simply just don't like you? Have you experienced the in-betweens? Have you? I want to know from you. What are your thoughts? I'd like to see what you have to say. And if you have any questions about it in terms of these specific challenges, let me know. I'm actually going to be hosting a masterclass before the end of March that's specifically going to be on executive presence for women in leadership. So it is going to be a free masterclass. This is definitely something you're going to want to check out, because I'm going to go into a lot more detail about that and be able to provide you with some very good insights and strategies for you to manage it. So if you're just now joining us, hello and welcome. Thank you for being here today. I have been watching a lot of videos on YouTube, and they are not talking about what happens after you develop your executive presence. I'm going to share with you 3 scenarios that you're going to experience that people are not talking about on YouTube after you develop your executive presence. The first scenario is that you're going to have people who are going to like you. These are going to be your fans. These are going to be individuals that want to be around you. The second scenario that you're going to experience is people that are going to not like you. They're not going to like you, and they will challenge your executive presence every day of the week, every moment of your meeting. They will always come after you with some type of question, something to antagonize you with. And third is the individuals who are in between. These are going to be your peer-to-peer individuals who are not quite sure how to take your change in terms of you shifting your executive presence. If you want to learn how to manage these 3 scenarios after you develop your executive presence, you're going to want to watch this video. Watch this live video and check it out. It's going to have some great information in it to help you on your journey. Now, I do have a couple of things I do want to share with you that I'm letting my audience know. I have some free masterclasses that are coming up. I just talked about one, so I want to share with you quickly what those are so that you can get prepared to gain some more knowledge and more insights to help elevate your communication skills and get you to a good place when you are starting out at quarter number 2. There's going to be 4 free master classes. One will be on executive presence and its development. The second master class will be on elite communication skills at work. The third master class will be on interview preparation and salary negotiation. And the fourth master class will be on presentation and public speaking skills. These are all going to be fantastic master classes that you will want to join and participate in, because you're going to learn a lot. If you have been to my previous master classes, one was on executive communication for women in leadership. The second was on salary negotiation. You know that my master classes are going to be very engaging and you're going to learn a lot. I'm going to have it in more of a workshop type of format, so I'm going to be able to answer your questions and provide you with support. I will likely limit the number of people that I'm able to have in the master class for that reason, so that when you come into the master class, you come with questions and I'm able to answer them for you. I'm able to give you some feedback and we can discuss scenarios that perhaps have experienced as a woman in leadership, and really give you the opportunity to accelerate your career growth within that particular time period. So you want to follow me on LinkedIn, on Instagram, and on YouTube as well to get access to that information. A great way to get started is to sign up for my mailing list. It will be a really great opportunity for you to learn about the master classes in advance before I release that out to the remainder of my audiences. And if you need some additional support as it relates to elevating your communication skills, communicating at a higher level, figuring out how to think on your feet, how to present yourself as an executive and truly develop executive presence, then reach out to me. You can contact me at info@exciteexcellence.org, or you can take a look at some of the services that I have on my website. A communication skills audit is something that I do with a lot of my clients that they really enjoy, which is the opportunity for me to work directly with you and share with you my 20 years of public speaking experience as a C-suite executive, a manager and director, and as an executive coach, to help you accelerate your career growth in terms of how you are communicating. So it's a great opportunity if you have ever felt stuck in your career, or if you felt like you were bypassed for a promotion, or you felt like you don't belong at the table because you're not communicating well, or perhaps you don't feel like you're confident enough to communicate at a higher level, then this is a great opportunity for you and I to work together and basically help to enhance your communication skills within 1 week. Yes, I said within 1 week. That is how long the process is. I'm going to give you some great insights that will help you be able to advance in your career and give you some actionable action steps for you to start communicating at a higher level in 1 week. And of course, you're going to continue to build on those skills. So if y'all have any questions, let me know. I appreciate you all for joining. I appreciate the comments. Thank you so much. I just appreciate you for being here, because there's many places in the world of YouTube that you could be at. And I appreciate you spending just a few moments out of your day with me today. So I'm looking forward to seeing you all in the next video, and I hope that you have a fantastic day. Bye for now.